is sizing up her feet, drives, floats, hangs, and scores on the turnaround. J-Dub way behind the three-point line and hits way behind the three-point line. Got blocked, what a rejection by Aldred. Standing tall like a wall.
This is Udart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested podcast, coming to you live Sunday, April 6th, also the day the Oklahoma City Thunder apparently died, RIP, as they lose to the Los Angeles Lakers a lot to a little. I'm your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. I've got my man Justin Peabody in the house.
Hello, everybody.
We've got Taylor Peterson here.
Maybe we'll have better luck next year.
Yep, season's done. All it quits. We are brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network, and I'm about to burp. Hold on. There we go. And
Wow.
the homies over at Prairie Artisan Ales.
Not related to the burp.
Not related to the burp. I was up at Prairie this week.
Love that.
It's an awesome place.
It is.
You can
It's delightful.
You can go get a beer. You can go and do like I did and get a Topo Chico. You can go and play some pickleball.
Yep.
You can go and watch some basketball or whatever else is on the television.
Trivia on Sundays.
That's right.
Trivia on Sundays at
New
4.
beers,
We'll
New
be
Beer
tonight.
Fridays.
You know what
And
you
hey.
probably can't find up there right now? This beauty.
Seasick crocodile.
Please note, look at the state of this can.
Dents.
This can's been through a lot.
Is that a Justin defect or
No.
a Prairie defect?
Neither. But this old girl's been holding on for a while. It is April 6th, and this is their Christmas beer. And I am so excited that I found this tucked away somewhere, and I get one more Seasick Crocodile for the season. So I'm savoring it. It is my favorite Prairie beer.
Justin
love
was at
that
the
for you.
store and found this. He was telling me this the other night. Found this banged up 6-pack of Seasick Crocodile that just been sitting in the back of a warehouse somewhere. They found it, put it out.
It's a Christmas miracle.
They knew
love
somebody
that.
like Justin would be coming around,
That's right.
wanting to. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Prairie, I don't mean to put the cart before the horse, if you will. It's an interesting phrase. But Game 3 of the first round is probably going to be on a Friday or Saturday night. Game 3 of the first round is on the road, which means you'll be watching on television. And you should probably watch on television with a bunch of Thunder fans who are just as much of a degenerate as you are
Yes.
in a place that serves a lot of beer.
Yes.
That place could be Prairie Artisan Ales.
Yes.
We're in the
Sounds-
works.
Sounds delightful.
We're in the works. Also, P.S. shout out to all the basketball talk starts at X minutes and X seconds, folks. Just want you to know that you are seen and you are appreciated.
That's right.
4:15, still not talking basketball. We are out of YouTube jail.
That's right.
Let the money flow, baby. I think we have super chats reactivated again. So if
Yeah.
you're feeling like you just
Yeah.
want to donate $20 to the Uncontested to type something
Wow.
to chat that you could do for free,
Shameless.
feel free to do that.
Shameless.
You-
Tonight's
Also-
probably not the game to get that out.
Also,
or
we have
is it?
Where is it?
a Patreon. You can join the Patreon. There's a QR code in the top left corner of your screen. And joining the Patreon gets you bonus podcasts and gets you access to the Discord. If you like dark, sad places, I would encourage you to sign up for the Patreon and join the Discord.
The Discord was a very dark place this afternoon.
Sometimes it's the best of times,
That's right.
and sometimes it's the worst of times. But it's always entertaining.
Yes.
That
yes,
it is.
Someone got mad at me personally in the Discord
They
today.
did. They were calling you out by name multiple
I know.
times.
I was like,
you and your
"There's-"
sunshine pump.
I was like 50 Cent, like, what do you say F me for?
That's exactly what it was like. Oh my gosh.
Also, hey, speaking of watch parties, even on some of those away games throughout the playoffs, assuming the Thunder make it past the first round, which I still feel pretty good about, FYI.
I don't know.
We'll have
Don't
to do
tell-
some
don't tell the Discord.
watch alongs. We
Yeah.
stream the games in the Discord, have a ton of fun. We'll be sure to get a lot of use out of that during the playoffs. So be sure to subscribe to the Patreon. Also, bonus content. I think Justin, Silva, and I have been talking about trying to get a bonus pod out over the next couple of days. So stay tuned for that.
It's gonna be a good time. Good time. Someone needs to prove to me that the super chats are working again. By
Oh my
sending in a
gosh.
super
So
chat.
shameless.
You don't have to send in super chats. We don't. What are we gonna do with the money? Nothing. Actually, we know what we're gonna do with the money,
Buy a float in the championship parade.
dude.
I
If
don't
they
think-
win a
I
title
don't
and we
think
have
they
a
sell
parade, I
floats.
might drink for my first time ever.
Hey, you heard it here first.
And speaking of
Gonna-
Patreon Discord, Jacob was on the record in there saying he'll get a Thunder tattoo.
Oh yeah, Justin's gonna design it for me.
On his face. Yes.
Teardrops and a Thunder tat.
Love that. I love that.
The chat is wilding right now. I love it.
Those are good.
Uh,
Hey, shout out Alex.
Alex.
Alex is my personal goat.
With the super chat.
No comment either. He's just letting us know that it works.
That's the most like here.
Yeah, Fred
fine.
Van Skeet.
Hey, my
My
buddy
goodness.
Freddie says, still thinking about
Fredward.
that app with Jacob and Silva. We met up with Frederick at a game recently. good-
Frederick Van Skeetington.
Yes.
That is formal name. Makes me think of Skeeter from Doug.
Yes.
That was an unfortunate name.
Anyway,
Doug, Skeeter, Roger, and Patty.
Roger Klotz.
Skeet.
We should probably talk about this game as much as I don't want to.
We're delaying the inevitable.
We got to rip the Band-Aid at some point.
Okay, I have a way I want to approach this game.
Let's.
We're going to not talk about it. No, I'm kidding. Thunder lose 126.
And that'll do it for tonight's show.
Thunder lose 126-99. That is, for those of you who are not good at math, that would be 27 points to the Los Angeles Lakers. Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves both had great games. The white folks were hooping today. And Justin, this comes on the heels of a pretty ugly loss in Houston on Friday night. Really disappointed that the Thunder lost to my two most hated teams in the NBA. It's unfortunate. But mainly focusing on the Lakers game, Justin, but you can mix in the Rockets game in there as well.
Okay.
Scale of 1 to 10. How worried do these last two games make you as far as, like, how worried are you about the Thunder going into the playoffs with these last two games on your mind? Scale of 1 to 10.
Do you want my head or my heart to answer this question?
Yes.
My heart says like a 6.
Like emotionally, you're worried?
Yeah, just like watching these last two games, the darkness of the Discord can start to creep in, and it's not pretty. And you start to think about, like we've talked about all year, when you're this good, the weight of expectations start to get heavy. And when you watch these last two games and you think about what would happen if the Thunder flame out in the second round again, and the narrative that we'd have to listen to all offseason, and I don't like those thoughts. My head intervenes, and it's like a 2, 3 maybe. That you cannot judge this team based off 2 games in the first week in April when they're sitting at 64-14. The body of work that they've done through the entire season has to matter. It has to matter. It has to matter more than the last 72 hours do. And as unfun as it is, and as painful as it's probably going to be tomorrow morning, when the Shannon Sharp clips start hitting the timeline, these games are not that big of a deal. One of the exercises I did during the game to make myself feel better was I went and looked at how Boston ended the regular season last year. They lost back-to-back games to Atlanta, a team they shouldn't lose to once, about this time last year. And then in the second to last week of the season, also about the same time, they lost to the Knicks and the Bucks back-to-back.
After they had the 1 seed locked up, just like the Thunder team does.
You can't tell me the Celtics fan base wasn't spiraling just like the Thunder fan base is right now. And then look what they did when they got to the playoffs. They steamrolled everybody. And they did what they did during the regular season. So it's a battle between my head and my heart, but I think choosing to let my head prevail on this one, I think you have to take a look at the body of work that the Thunder have done through this entire season and hang your hat on that and not just what we've seen in the last 2 games.
Taylor?
Yeah.
1 to 10. Where is your concern level at?
Yeah, I'm going to say a 3 with the disclaimer that these past 2 games haven't changed that for me. And I think we all have kind of gotten caught up with the national narrative. It's always the worst when the Shannon Sharps and the national media people are talking down on your team and, OKC, KFC, Lakers in 5, right? That was tossed around a lot today after this game. Or the Brian Windhorst saying that teams don't fear the Thunder. On the other side, it's very easy to get caught up in the narrative that, the positives, that this team is so dominant, all the stats that we've laid out here on the podcast over the past couple of months. And, this team's just going to steamroll teams in the playoffs until we get to the Western Conference Finals. And I think these past 2 games were just kind of a reminder to both us as fans and the team as well that that's not necessarily the case. So I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily that the Thunder have had this wake up call heading into the playoffs. But I also don't think it should kind of persuade us one way or the other. I think there's always that concern come playoff time. Different things can happen. The game slows down. All the different reasons we've laid out in the past that this Thunder team could lose a playoff series. But to Justin's point, we've seen a bigger body of work, a much bigger sample size. And I don't think that's a reason to be concerned based off these 2 games. That being said, I do have some things I thought don't want to call them excuses, but I think there's some reasons Thunder fans should feel optimistic after losing these 2 games. And on the other side, I think there are real takeaways from the Rockets game and tonight's game, after this afternoon's game, the matinee that was on ABC or ESPN.
Yeah.
Real takeaways that could cause, some issues for the Thunder heading into the playoffs.
On the flip side of what you said, Taylor, we got another super chat. Shout out to our guy, David Skelton. He asks, are we allowed to be annoyed and freak out yet? 3 MVPs. I'm assuming that means he's looking big picture. 3 MVPs, no title, and can't beat Luka.
I mean, you're allowed to be annoyed whenever you want. We're not going to facilitate your feelings, but
right.
I mean, the no title thing, this is a new era of Thunder basketball. They haven't been in the playoffs yet. Last year they were, right?
Yeah.
But we all knew that was the first time. So we'll see what happens this season. There's no guarantee they're going to play the Lakers in the playoffs.
Right.
There's a chance that they just don't see the Lakers get bounced in the first round. And today, the Lakers, I want to make sure I get accurate stats here. 17 free throws to 12. Lakers hit 22 of 40 threes, 55%. They made 10 more threes than OKC. That is 30 more points. The Lakers shot 55, 55, 70 splits.
70 is insane.
Hate to break it to you, but if the Washington Wizards shoot 55, 55, 70, you're going to lose the basketball game. If the I don't know, the
Shanghai Sharks.
The Shanghai Sharks shoot 55, 55, 70, you're going to lose the game. The Lakers were very hot. They did get in a rhythm. I'm not saying the Thunder are blameless. The Lakers hit a ton of shots. And when that happens, there's just not much you can do. Can the Lakers do that 4 times in 7 games against a team that is really, really, really good and shown us that they're really good the entire season? We'll see. Do we even have to see that?
Right.
Someone
brought up the big brain move of the Thunder just really helping the Thunder or helping the Lakers to more likely land in the 3rd seed, which would
So you
put them
don't
on
see
the
them to the
opposite
Western
side of the
Conference
bracket. The bracket from the Thunder. That maybe there's something to that. Get your tinfoil hat out.
Exactly.
I did pull this up, Jacob. Over the last 15 games, I went ahead and just used that sample size because, Luke was traded in February, and took a little while for him to kind of get into a groove. Over the last 15 games, the Lakers are shooting 39% from 3, which is pretty solid on 40 attempts per game. Today, guess how many attempts per game, or how many 3-point attempts they had?
40.
40, and shot 55% to your point.
Yeah.
On those
So it's an outlier.
attempts.
It's an absolute outlier.
It is interesting. There was a stat from Matt Moore that was fresh in my mind. Nick shared it in the chat. I'm sure others saw it as well. He pointed out that this season, Oklahoma City allows the most number of 3-point attempts of any team in the league, while also giving up the lowest 3-point percentage of any team in the league. So it's very clear this team has an intentional strategy to try to bait the other team into taking low volume 3-point shots. And
or low percentage 3-point shots.
Yeah, sorry. High volume of low percentage 3-point shots. And when that strategy works, it works great. And I think that's why for a majority of the season, it's worked. A game like today illustrates exactly what happens when it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. The Dallas series last year.
Right? It can happen. It can happen over the course of a series. It's hard to do. And I think you play those odds to an extent. But that is not at all the sole story of today's game. Like there were so many other factors. I don't think that if the Thunder and Lakers started a playoff series tomorrow, the way Oklahoma City matches up or chooses to defend LA, I don't think it looks anything like what we saw today.
Can I throw out a few things from today? Just observations that I thought were interesting. Lakers ran a lot of zone. Thunder were very willing to switch.
Yep.
Pretty much every Lucas screen.
Yep.
Which is
including
in stark
with their
contrast.
bigs.
Including with their bigs.
Yeah, a lot of I heart on Luka and Chet on Luka. I thought Chet was fine. Like there was a Luka step back 3 where Chet's long old
All
arm is
over
right
him.
in his face, almost tips the ball, and Luka just drops it in. Like there's not much else you can do there. I felt like the Thunder were experimenting a lot there because when you think back to that Dallas series, they did not switch Luka screens. They trapped Luka screens every time.
Yep.
And they didn't do that today.
Yep.
It almost felt like gathering some data, trying some new
Experimenting.
things.
Exactly.
And not trying to show them your fastballs or your changeups or your different
Show you my fastball.
Like how I jotted down some notes before the pod, and the way I kind of broke this down is things, reasons for us not to be too concerned, and some real, not concerns, but things that we should take away and give credit to these other teams and things that we can take away from when the Thunder are heading into the playoffs. And that's one that I had as well. Just the double big lineup and the switching also. Like Mark and OKC essentially stuck with switching on the perimeter the entirety of the game, left Chet or Hart on an island 1v1, basically, with those players. And I tweeted something out similar there after we saw it happen like 3 or 4 straight possessions when Hart switched onto Luka. So he defended it pretty well as a whole, but when Luka's making those shots like he is and the player that he is,
There's
just
so much you can do.
does it right. Right.
And for what it's worth, I'm interested in another observation. Justin, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this one. I think, hey, people still throw. Shout out to the super chats.
Peer
Your
pressure
shameless
works.
call for super
I also
chats.
activated something called super stickers. Don't
Sounds
know what
fake.
that is. Don't know what that looks like. But feel free. This matchup feels like a no Hartenstein, add Kaysen to the starting lineup.
100%.
matchup.
I'm surprised they didn't do it to start the second half.
That was another point I have.
And I don't think you. Why would you? If that's the lineup you think is going to work, like why give them that look?
It's fair.
But Chet on Jackson Hayes is great. And then with that lineup, you get Dort on Big Boy. You get J-Dub on Luka. You get Kaysen on Austin Reeves. And then you get The only downfall of that is that leaves Shea on Rui Hachimura, which is a size mismatch. But I think you live with that. I thought Shea was pretty decent defensively today. I also think this is a matchup where you could run out my favorite lineup the team has to offer, which is Shea, Kaysen, Dort, AC, and Dub. I thought AC did a really good job on Luka today. My favorite play of the day, which there wasn't a lot, was a Luka post-up turnaround to fadeaway, and AC just stepped in, smacked the ball away, stole it, and went down and laid it up. Luka was getting really upset with the physicality that AC played with, and I loved that. I absolutely loved that.
So, Jacob, that brings me to two quick thoughts. One, we did not see when the Thunder have played the Mavericks in meaningful games in the past with Luka Doncic on the team. Lou Dort's minutes always mirror Luka's. That was not the case today.
Yep.
We saw quite a bit where Alex Caruso, Kaysen Wallace, other players got time on Luka. And to what you said earlier, I think that's about gathering data points. The other thing, you mentioned the lineups. I had those exact same thoughts, so I went ahead and pulled some of the stats on these lineups. The starters this season, while Chet was hurt, so iHeart, Shea, Lou, Dub, with Kaysen in that starting lineup. 14.8 net rating, 312 minutes played, and 30 games played. The double big lineup, once Chet got healthy and no more Kaysen. Keep in mind, Dub's been injured, so it's not going to be as many minutes or games as you would think. But basically the big three plus iHeart and Lou. 13 games played in 158 minutes, 15.3 net rating. That's pretty solid. But the Shea, Lou, Chet, Dub, Kaysen, what we're calling the, Shea, Lou, Chet, Dub, Kaysen, 11 games played, 118 minutes, plus 21.5 net rating. And then I also was looking into that small ball death lineup. We saw it today for, I think it was only 1.5 minutes before there was a sub. The death lineup being Shea, Lou, AC, Dub, and Kaysen. We saw that have success here last week, and we didn't see it really employed at all. So my point being, like, unless I miss it, Kaysen didn't play in a lineup with Shea, Dub, Lou, and Chet. It just felt to me that Mark has been coaching these games very vanilla, right? He's not trying to show some of these different looks that they're going to give these teams in the playoffs. With some of these teams like the Lakers, the Wolves, the Rockets, who could give the Thunder trouble with some of those defensive-minded wings.
You know the thing that bothers me the most about everything you just said, Taylor? I hate when people use the term vanilla to describe something bad. I love vanilla.
You love vanilla?
I'm a vanilla boy.
It's a sounder, 2336.
I'm a vanilla boy.
Sounder.
Yeah.
I wish JD was here at the explosion.
I was going to say, if JD was here, he'd play my my chocolate sounder.
I wonder if there was an explosion when JD was digging that hole today.
Hey, you know what? I would have rather been digging that hole with Silva than watching
that game. Want to give a shout out to another
Silva
chat.
is a. Hold on, we can get the super chat in a second. Silva can now put grave digger on his resume.
Gosh.
No context needed.
No context needed.
Want to give a shout out to another super chat from our guy Alan, who says he's at a 4. I do think we need Dub and Chet to step up more in the playoffs, but I still think we're getting the parade in June. I do want to destroy the Lakers Tuesday to shut up sharp. That is the advantage. We don't have to wait long for the rematch.
Yes. There is little things in this earthly life that I want more than for the Thunder to beat the Lakers and Luka Doncic in a playoff series. The amount of mean things I will say on the internet is going to be really, really high.
We've got the receipts.
But I think a 4 is fair, right? It's like, I think recency bias really plays a part here.
Totally.
The boy Nick Crane is in the chat saying, "Who cares what Shannon Sharp thinks?"
Accurate.
The problem is it's going to make the rounds. The same thing with who's the idiot with the twin brother that wants to fight everybody?
Marcus Morris.
Yeah, like all they're going to do is just say wild stuff. That way they get engagement, right?
Yes.
Now, I do think there's a good point that was brought up there. Dub and Chet both really struggled tonight.
Mhm.
Or I keep saying tonight, but this afternoon
Well,
as a whole.
And on that, Taylor, Chet took 6 shots.
Yep.
10 points, 3 rebounds, and assist and a block for Chet. I think he does a lot better personally offensively with his own offensive game whenever he's the solo big.
Agreed. Completely. And we saw that some last week, which is why I wanted to bring up those lineups. And also, he was kind of in foul trouble, right? Like, he had those 4 fouls.
He got
Mark
some
took him out of the
ticky-tack
game.
ones.
Oh, and that's the thing. That's the other thing here is when you talk about the whistle that the Lakers get in comparison to the Thunder. Shea took, what, 2 free throws today?
Free throw merchant.
Yeah, he took 0
None.
free throws.
None
He
free
took
throws.
2 against the Rockets.
Only 2 players on the Thunder shot free throws today. Aaron
2
Wiggins and Jalen Williams. That's it. The
0
whole team.
free throws for SGA. And then Sideshow Bob looking ass over here gets 4 free
Jackson
throws.
Hayes. Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's
exactly.
insane. That's insane.
But I will say, I think that's one of the like real takeaways you can take away from these past 2 games is when you have teams like the Rockets and the Lakers who have these versatile wing, bigger defenders, it does result in like they're able to speed Dub up. For example, we saw that in the playoff series last year against the Mavs. They're able to, I don't want to say take Chet out of the game, but get him into foul trouble. They take both of our bigs out of position, like we saw with iHeart guarding on the perimeter, not down low. And I think that is not a reason for concern, but something the Thunder are going to have to address when they face these matchups in the playoffs. And to that point, I think that's why we didn't see some of these other lineups that Mark could have deployed over the past 2 games.
It felt like JJ was kind of riffing a little bit on things that Dallas did and had success on the Thunder in the playoffs. And like makes total sense for JJ. He's a smart guy. He was probably watching that series last year as a podcaster and probably tapped into some of those things to see, how they work with this team, especially, around Luka. You mentioned earlier, like how Oklahoma City defended Luka. LA has better shooters around Luka than Dallas did, PJ Washington not included. That it's going to force Oklahoma City. They can't employ the exact same strategies against Luka that they did last year in the playoffs. So I think to that point of like, what do you show now? What do you experiment with now? What do you just like take note of now and then break out in the playoffs potentially in a potential series? I think it's all really balanced. It's a really fine balance that you have to strike. And I think that's not the fun part as a fan, because we want to get swept up in the Shannon Sharp discourse and like dunk on people on the timeline and things like that, like because it's fun. But the reality is that if you can gain some sort of schematic advantage moving into the playoffs, that's far more important than a regular season game on April 6th.
When you have the 1 seed locked up. Justin, one thing that you mentioned about JJ, this is my last thought. I want to run it by both of you. Luka and Austin Reeves specifically, as well as some of the other starters. I know Dorian Finney-Smith doesn't start, but obviously it's kind of like their 6th man. They stayed in the game for a very long time. And it was kind of interesting. You had like Lakers fans saying, why are these guys still playing in a 20-point game? Take them out. We play them again Tuesday.
Luka needs to so he can lose some damn weight.
That's true. Maybe JJ subscribes to Nico Harrison's thoughts on Luka. But I can't help but wonder the things that we're talking about, the lack of different lineups, and I'm going to use the term again, the vanilla game that the Thunder kind of threw out there today. Can't help if that kind of maybe upset JJ a little bit. Like, you're not showing us your fastball, so I'm going to stick it to you all and keep my starters in. Maybe that's just like big brain, very biased thinking on my behalf. But
you know the meme of the guy that's his brain is so big it goes behind him and turns into a chair?
Yes.
That's Taylor right now.
It's better than tinfoil.
Speaking of a big brain move, Skelton with another super chat. He's going to watch Minecraft on Tuesday. So that means the Thunder are going to win the rematch.
Hey, leave this comment up here for a second. I got a few questions here. The comment reads verbatim, going to Minecraft on Tuesday, so Thunder will win. First, imagine reading this post 10 years ago.
Yes.
Second, David, are you going to Minecraft as an individual grown man, or are you taking a child? I need clarification in the chat. You also have to pay to answer that one too.
Last, is it a coincidence that you're going to Minecraft on Tuesday so you think the Thunder will win, or do you intentionally buy tickets on Tuesday so that they will win because of your actions.
That's a good point.
So
many
many ways
questions
so many
about
ways to
Minecraft.
read this.
I didn't know the Minecraft movie was out. Justin, you gonna go see the Minecraft movie?
No.
You don't.
My
Your
kid-
children aren't into Minecraft.
My kids don't know what Minecraft is. We actually ate McDonald's this weekend and the Happy Meal toys are Minecraft. And I was like, do you guys know what Minecraft is? And they were like, we hear people talk about it at school. And they like opened the toy and I was like, who is that? And they were like, I don't know.
The children do not yearn for the mines.
No, not these ones.
Taylor, you gonna go see Minecraft?
I've never played Minecraft in my life.
Same.
I see the videos and stuff like on TikTok occasionally. It's about
Taylor-
my Minecraft knowledge.
Taylor's more of a Roblox kind of guy.
Also,
wanna do some
I'll play
trivia?
that. Let's do it.
Yes.
Think
I
I'm
got
running
Some
it.
trivia.
I'm running
I
out
got-
of blank pages on my notepad.
I got lots of
Unbelievable.
trivia questions. Smoot sending in trivia. Rob sending in trivia. We sent
Incredible.
Rob a free T-shirt from the Uncontested. You should go buy our Nick Gallo T-shirts.
You should.
Um,
Our best-selling T-shirt ever, which is
And-
awesome.
And they're dope. Shout out Justin for those shirts. Rob got a free one. If you would like a free T-shirt, it's real easy. All you have to do is write the podcast content for me for a full season, and I will send you a T-shirt.
Almost pulled a Taylor and spit on my computer.
Shout out Rob.
I was not expecting that answer.
Shout out Rob has sent me trivia questions every week all season.
It's insane.
That's awesome.
He's a legend.
The GOAT.
Also, shout out to Onion Bagel for winning the uncontested bracket pool officially. The national championship game's tomorrow, but he's got it locked up.
Got it in the bag.
Dustin and I were fighting around
Right
the
there.
top until Duke lost last night
in
but,
dramatic fashion.
in dramatic
too, man.
fashion. So Onion Bagel's going to get himself a Prairie gift card and a uncontested shirt as well.
Congratulations. All right, let's do some trivia. Once I get the trivia questions pulled up. All right.
I also have questions that can be trivia
Hey, we're going to
questions.
do a ton of trivia.
triple
today.
header.
Yeah. And I think Smoot sent you some last minute questions, Jacob.
Yes, yes.
So we got a bunch.
I already said that, brother. You got to listen. Gonna be real honest with you. Haven't read any of these till right this moment. So if they are inaccurate, my suggestion to you would be sign up for the Patreon and complain to Rob in the Discord after you pay for the Patreon. Question 1. Before today's game with LA, SGA averages 22.2 points per game and 45.3% field goal percentage in 20 career games against the Lakers. What is his win-loss record all time versus the Lakers?
On the Thunder, I'm assuming.
All time. There's 20 games. I don't know if it's just
that
Thunder or
include-
if it includes the Clippers.
Hmm.
But
Not that I'm smart enough to let that affect my answer, just more so out of curiosity.
before today, SGA was averaging 22 points on 45% from the field against the Lakers. What is his win-loss record?
20 games.
20 games.
All right.
8 and 12 for TP. TP, have we ever told you that your hand shakes real bad whenever you hold that
Yeah. Every time.
It's because he's nervous.
up? Justin's going 11 and 9. I'm proud of both of you for getting a total number of
That's
20.
why I clarified.
it.
The answer 8 wins, 12 losses.
Mm.
I was just thinking about those tanking years.
I was
plus
too,
against
but
the
I felt
Clippers.
like maybe it was a trick question.
Rob only sent in 2 questions today. So, Rob, I want my shirt back.
Only.
Including this season, who has made 300 3-point shots in one season? Looking for player names.
Ever? What is? Hang on. Say it again.
300 3-point shots made in one season.
That's the question.
Yeah. It's all current players. And
Oh,
there's
there's
1,
more than
2,
one?
3, 4, 5 of them who've made
Okay,
300,
that makes more sense.
300 threes.
Oh, just total league wide or what?
I guess so. Yeah, there's 5 players on the list.
Okay.
They're all currently playing in the NBA.
Okay.
300 threes in a season. If you do the math, that's like 3.5 a game, at least.
I don't feel good about this list.
Five players. I don't know why I'm doing the Jeopardy music.
It's a good backdrop for this.
It is
So,
good.
It needs to be.
Okay.
Neow, 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 neow.
Dude,
Neow, neow, neow,
That's
Red
been stuck
Panda,
in all
Red
our
Panda
heads.
lives in my brain.
Weekly.
I'm thinking about getting a Red Panda tattoo. Taylor, what's your answer?
Yes.
I've got Trey Young, Klay Thompson, Steph, Buddy Hield. And because the way he asked this question, I'm trying to remember. I think I saw a stat about this last week. Lou Dort. Let's go ahead and throw Lou in there.
Okay.
Justin?
I said Steph, Trey, Buddy, Dame, Harden.
Harden's a good one.
The answer. Steph, 5 times. James Harden.
Ooh.
Klay Thompson.
Clay was a good pull.
Ant Edwards.
Oh.
Ant.
Malik Beasley.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one from this season.
There you go.
So there you go.
Wow.
Smoot's got some questions. He says, we're going to do a lot of trivia tonight, boys. That's not what he said. That's what I said. He said there are 3 questions about 3-pointers.
Man. Okay.
Question 1. Again, if these are inaccurate, join the Patreon and complain to Smoot. I do not vet any of these. Question 1.
Very
What is the
responsible.
average 3-point percentage that opposing teams shoot when the Thunder loses?
Ooh,
Wow. That's a good question.
great question.
So when the Thunder loses, what is the average 3-point percentage of those teams?
I feel like I'm low here.
That's 14
I
games?
got my answer.
Yeah. Right. 14
So in those
games.
14 losses, what's the average 3-point percentage of the opposition?
I feel like I'm way too low, but I won't change my answer.
What you got?
Got 39%.
I said 43.
Ooh.
I was thinking 42 is what I should have gone with.
Then why didn't you write it?
Well, because I was too late and already wrote it down. And
The answer
See
is
what happens
41.
when you don't have a
41%.
whiteboard?
41.
okay,
41.
41.
yes, that's
Whiteboards
true. I also
are,
don't have a whiteboard.
Really easy to erase.
Actually,
Taylor.
I do have a whiteboard. I just have not gotten it for the full season.
Oh,
After the
man.
season's over, I'll go and get it at this point.
I like that me
Gotta
and
stick
TP
with the bid.
split that though. 39 and 43.
Pretty close. Question 2. What opposing team has the worst 3-point percentage in a Thunder loss? So think about the 14 losses. Which opposing team has the worst 3-point percentage in a game where they beat the Thunder? Who's the team?
That requires me to remember who the
Yeah.
Thunder lost to.
I was gonna
It's
say
only 14 games, brother.
It's only 14 games.
Nil, 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 nil.
Right. Just going for it. TP, you ready?
Oh no, I'm changing my answer. I'm doing it. Okay,
Taylor,
I'm
didn't
ready.
they ever teach you the test taking skill to always go with your first answer?
Yeah, I know.
Taylor saying the Nuggets.
After crossing out the Rockets, obviously not Friday's game.
Justin is saying the Mavs. The answer is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I almost went with that one.
They have beat the Thunder twice. In one game, they shot 26%.
Yikes.
In another game, they shot 28%.
Wow.
Man,
That's surprising.
Question 3. What opposing team has shot the best 3-point percentage against the Thunder in a Thunder loss?
Does today count?
Yes, it does.
Is it today?
I don't know. You
That's-
write down your answer, buddy.
that's what I wrote down. It's
Okay,
hard
I'll
to
do
think a
another.
team shot.
I'll stick with my original answer just because Golden State feels like a
Lakers,
safe bet.
Golden State. The answer,
It's a good one.
Denver Nuggets at 56.3%.
Wow.
The Lakers game today was 55%. So it was
55.
a percentage point off.
Wow.
Wow.
I think Justin wants to do some trivia.
Okay, yes. All right. Hang on, I got to get it ready. I had this inkling also during the game when I was trying to distract myself from the game. And I started going down a rabbit hole looking at records of teams against the top teams in their conference. Specifically, with close attention to not only the Thunder now, but also past championship teams. So that is the theme for today's segment. What is the Thunder record this season against the current top 6 in the West?
Will you list the current top 6?
The current top 6 in the West is Houston, Lakers, Denver, Golden State, and Minnesota. What is
Do you want a
Thunder's
record or a winning percentage? 'Cause
Total
I don't know how
record.
many games.
Good point. Good call out.
We can
there-
do this.
There's been
4
18
teams.
18 games.
Okay.
18 games against them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Houston, Los Angeles Lakers, Denver Nuggets, Golden State Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves.
18 games.
Hmm. 18 games. I'm ready for spaghetti.
Let's see it. Jacob says 8-10. Taylor says 8-10.
Boom.
You guys are both close. The answer is 9-9.
Oh,
Nice.
Even 500.
500. It's a lot better than the stat I saw floating around earlier today about
Going 500 against 2 through 8 is pretty good, guys.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So-
good. You just have to go slightly better than 500 in the playoffs to win a series, and you have home court advantage.
So that was looking specifically at 2 through 6,
Oh, 2
cutting
through
it off
6,
at
not 2
like
through 8.
the playoff
Sorry.
line. So that is what gets interesting is if you extend it to 8, because 5 through 8 is so tight right now. Depending on how the standings play out, that stat could look very different for the Thunder because Oklahoma City is 4-0 against Memphis and 4-0 against the Clippers, compared to 1-2 against the Warriors and 2-2 against the Timberwolves. So
Yep.
if you swap 2-2 out for 4-0, that changes it pretty dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
And aren't they like 2-3 against the Rockets because of the
3-2.
3-2.
3-2. Yep.
3-2.
The Warriors are the only team they have a losing record against in the top 8. They have a winning record against Houston, and then they're even with every other series. So tomorrow's Lakers game will go a long way in tipping the scales one way or another. Will Oklahoma City have a winning record or a losing record against the top 6 seeds? Which leads me to my next question. Which was the last NBA champion to have a losing record against the top 6 in their conference? I had to cut it off at 6 because of the current playoff rules, but technically, old playoffs used to go to 8. But we're looking at 6 for consistency's sake.
Last year was the Celtics. The year before that was the Nuggets. The year before that was the Warriors.
Lakers.
Bucks.
Oh, no,
Lakers.
Bucks. Sorry.
Bucks. Then
Bucks.
No.
Warriors,
hang on. I was
Lakers.
looking at the wrong line. Celtics, Nuggets, Warriors,
Oh,
Bucks,
okay.
Lakers.
Wow.
I don't know how far you want me to go.
That's good.
That Bucks championship doesn't seem that long ago. Did you give a time
2021 for
parameter
the
on this
Bucks.
question? Will you
I
repeat
did
the
not.
question? Okay.
The last NBA champion to have a losing record against the top 6 in their conference.
Gotcha.
Jacobs.
Slowly. Oh, we did the same thing again.
They both say
it,
the bubble
Lakers.
Lakers. That is incorrect.
That was a really good sounder.
That was
Thank you.
great.
Feel free to rip that.
You sound like a buzzer.
So since you were both wrong, do you think it's more recent or older?
More recent.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
older.
trying to think who.
Oh, I don't like that.
Older. Do you want to guess another team, or do you want me to tell you?
No, I just want
The
you
way
to
you're
tell me.
saying this makes me think it's like one of those Lakers, or sorry, one of those
The
Warriors teams.
2017-18 Golden State Warriors, who were 58-24, were 8-10 against the top 6.
You're making
So
me
in
feel better,
that
Justin.
same range, they were 1-2 against Houston, 1-2 against Portland, 2-2 against Oklahoma City, 1-3 against the Jazz, and 3-1 against the Pelicans.
Wow. Wow.
So that one I think is interesting because the only team they had a winning record against was the 6th seed. So if you want to compare Oklahoma City's like fandom doom and gloom to the 2017-18 Warriors, which were a pretty phenomenal basketball team, that is a helpful dose of touch grassiness. Can you guess the team before that? This doesn't have to be a full question, but just like how far back do you think you have to go to find the next team?
Another 10 years.
10 years.
I was going to say like early 2000s.
The 2013-14 Spurs, who were 62-20 and were 8-11 against the top 6. Again,
Yeah, it was a
sounds
little
very
similar.
familiar. But yet again, listen to these numbers. 0-4 against the Thunder, 2-1 against the Clippers, 0-4 against the Rockets, 2-2 against the Trailblazers, and 4-0 against the Warriors. Can you imagine the discourse if Oklahoma City was 0-4 this season against the Rockets and the Nuggets?
Say, can you imagine the discourse?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the discord?
The Discord. Yeah, wild. I went back further than that, but the theme is that it's not common. A 500-ish record is pretty common, and there's some outliers. So just to give you some quick numbers to round this out, last year Celtics were 13-5 against the top 6. The Nuggets before that were 10-4. The Warriors in 21-22 were only 8-7, so they were right on the cusp. The 21 Bucks were 10-5. The Bubble Lakers that you both guessed were 12-7 against the top 6, which I wouldn't have guessed. They only had a losing record against one team, and it was Houston. The Raptors 11-8. The 2017 Warriors were 13-5 against the top 6. The 2016 Cavs were 10-6. The 15 Warriors were 13-4, so on and so forth. So like there, I would say about a third had like really dominant records against the top 6. Another third had slightly above 500, and another third were below 500 of NBA champions in the last 15 years or so. So I don't know that you can. The reason I wanted to look into that is to see like, is there some kind of like causation or correlation that you can pull from how a team performs, generally speaking, against the top teams in their conference? I don't know that you can. It probably is statistical malpractice to not like look at a broader set of teams than what I looked at, but I don't have time for that. So just interesting. I think maybe it's a good reminder for myself and anyone listening to this of like, you don't have to put too much stock into it. And going back to how we started the pod, like you can kind of trust the results of the whole season, right? Every team that's won an NBA title in the last 15 years has been a top 3 seed. That I think the results of the entire season weigh more heavily than some specific outcomes of specific matchups.
Well done. I like that. It's good context.
That's what I did during the fourth quarter. I don't know about you.
I drove home during the fourth quarter,
Yeah, I quit watching.
and I heard
Actually, I had it
Matt
on in the
Pinto.
background.
I heard Matt Pinto get very petty, which is one of my favorite
love
things
Petty
in
Pinto.
Thunder
Best.
lore.
Petty Pinto. Also,
Petty
we
Pinto.
have a super chat response from Skelton to the Minecraft movie question. He says he's going with the kids.
Good.
Tuesday's a cheap day. And then he also says, I'm a curse when I watch and I want to help the team. I'm just there for the
Thank
Superman
you for your
teaser.
service.
Oh, there for the Superman teaser. I like that.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
fair. I'm stoked for that film as well.
All right, you guys want to take a break?
Let's do it.
All right, we will be right back. We're back. As we end the show today, I thought it would be fun to share this. Let's go share screen, share this screen, share again. You guys see this? Is it
Not
showing
yet,
up?
but it's there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Western Conference playoff picture, and it is the odds of where each team will end in the standing. So obviously the Thunder at 100%. I just think this is interesting as we are a week away from the end of the regular season to kind of get an idea of who the Thunder might be playing. The Lakers after today have a 60% chance to end at the 3 seed. That means they would be on the other side of the bracket. It would be Rockets and Lakers on the other side. The Nuggets, kind of a wild spread. 22% chance for 4, 17% for 5, 18% chance for 6, 19% chance for 7,
Wow.
12% chance for 8.
That's
They're
kind of
kind of all over the place. Same
3
with the
through 8.
Warriors. The Warriors are 22, 21, 16, 17, 11 on 4 through 8. It looks like the Clippers are most likely going to end at 7 or 8, so in the play-in. The Wolves have a wide range from 4 to 6. And then we're locked in with Kings and Mavericks in that 9-10 slot. So if this were to come to pass, it looks like it would probably be the Clippers as the 7 seed, the Grizzlies as the 8 seed, the Kings at the 9, the Mavericks at the 10. Who do you guys like in that Clippers-Grizzlies play-in matchup?
Clips easily.
Agreed.
So that would put the Clips
Agreed.
at 7 if this is how things ended in a week, which would mean the Thunder's first-round opponent would be the Memphis Grizzlies, the Sacramento Kings, or the Dallas Mavericks. Sign me up.
Sign me up.
Yep.
Sign me up.
Exactly. Yep. There's a lot of, like you said, a lot of ways that the chips could fall, but I think you feel pretty good about those 3 options if you're Oklahoma City.
And then the Thunder would play the winner in the second round, if it were to end this way, of the 4-5 matchup, which looks most likely to be a 4-5 matchup between the Denver Nuggets and the Golden State Warriors.
That would be a great series.
Would be a
That
great
series would be
series.
great.
Fun.
And then who would you prefer out of those two?
Probably the Nuggets.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
See, I was leaning the other way and was going to say I'll regret. I might regret.
I'll regret this.
Oh, we wet saying it.
might regret this.
Oh my God.
But I think I prefer the Warriors there.
Don't matter. Thunder in 5.
I don't know, man. The West is just insane, and the playoffs this year are going to be a blast. And I think that's today's game. If it maybe helped get me there, maybe others as well. As much as this Thunder team has rocked this season, and how much fun we've had, the West is nuts. The West is nuts, and I think there's a lot of people that could come out of the West and make it to the NBA Finals. It's going to be tough, and it's going to be hard not to feel disappointed if the Thunder don't end up in the finals because of how good the regular season has been. But the reality of what a finals run would entail would be insane. The Nuggets are incredible. Jokic is incredible. They've been on a heater. Oklahoma City's played really well in general against the Nuggets, but that's a tough series. And the Warriors, Steph just has a voodoo doll of Clay Bennett in his locker somewhere. And playoff Jimmy Butler he's a playoff riser, and adding him to that team, like, that scares me a little. Like, both of those series scare me in different ways.
I agree.
It's going to be stressful, I think, once you really dig into it.
And then the interesting thing about teams like the Warriors and the Lakers is that they've had these pretty significant changes post-trade deadline with Jimmy Butler, obviously,
Right.
and then Luka Doncic. And so you don't have as much of a sample size as you do these other teams.
Yep.
Of those two teams, Nuggets and Warriors, which of the two do you think? Two questions here real quick. Which of the two do you think the Thunder match up better defensively against? Like, who do you think the Thunder will defend better? Warriors or Nuggets?
That's also a really great question.
I know, that's why I asked it.
Jacob is on one tonight. He's feisty.
What I do, I ask good questions, TP.
Because there's no good matchup for Jokic. That's why a Denver series is
And
so
there's no good
exciting.
matchup for Steph.
Right.
Can I be honest?
Please.
I think of all the teams in the West, the Thunder match up the best with both of those teams. Like, I think the Thunder have the best answer for Steph, and I think the Thunder have the best answer for Jokic. Is that fair?
Answer feels like the wrong word.
Yeah, they have the most options to. They can defend those teams the best out of those in the West, but I think there's other teams they match up better with.
That I
yeah.
agree with that statement.
For sure.
I think
was just saying,
that's where you were
I
going.
think the
That's where you were
Thunder,
going. I gotcha.
if you had to say which team in the West is best equipped to guard
Right.
Steph,
Right.
I'd probably say OKC. And
And
if you
same for
said which
Jokic.
team in the West is best equipped to guard Jokic, I'd probably say OKC.
I'll agree with that statement. Yep. They're just nightmares, right? Like they can drop, both of those guys can drop 60 on your head on any given night.
Yeah. Steph scored 3 points today on 1 of 10 shooting.
That's the thing is he hasn't been nearly as consistent,
He has against the Thunder.
but he has against.
I'm
the Thunder.
saying, man, like he's got PJ Washington magic, but he's Steph Curry and not PJ Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think the Thunder would have a better chance scoring on? Like if it became like a outscore the other team?
The Nuggets.
Agreed. Nuggets
Agreed.
for sure.
Hey, at least ESPN gave us a full article about how Nikola Jokic is anchoring a bottom 10 defense in the NBA by kicking the ball out of bounds.
the ball out of
Kicking
bounds.
balls.
Just like
Insane.
Draymond, defensive player of the year, Draymond
Yeah.
Green.
You know what?
Wild.
He kicks a lot of balls. Shout out Steven Adams.
I don't know if Steven wants that shout out.
I don't think so. Be interesting. Should we do our last weekly predictions of the season?
Sure. Here's my
Feels weird.
prediction: 4-0.
Unbelievable.
Boom.
Moneyball, whichever of the 4 you want. I don't care.
Don't matter. Thunder and
You
four.
sound like Shannon Sharp. Let's go through this properly. The first game, as you might have guessed, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, rematch against the Lakers in Oklahoma City. Jacob, what happens?
Win.
Taylor, what happens?
When I'm getting bold, give me the money ball.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
Chang, a Thunder money ball.
Taylor, who's the rapper who sings the Win song? Win. Win.
J Rock.
J-Rock.
J Rock and Kenny.
Give me, it's a J-Rock kind of week, boys.
I'm also going to
T-Pain,
take a
all I do
win.
is win.
I refuse to believe this will be the first time Oklahoma City loses 3 straight this season. The next game, the beginning of their 3-game road trip to close out the season, they head to Phoenix. Late tip-off on Wednesday. Taylor, what happens in Phoenix?
I can see this. I'm going to go ahead and say it's an L because I think on the Sega Baba, after playing the Lakers twice, they're going to be resting a bunch of players. I don't think we see Shea. I don't think we see Chet. We'll see about that's just my thought. I don't think it really matters.
Jacob,
They can
what
rest
happens?
everyone. Phoenix sucks. Give me OKC. Moneyball.
I'm also going to say a win. I think, I appreciate your big brain take, Taylor, that anything
Taylor's
could,
overthinking everything tonight.
that
man.
anything could
I-
happen, but also Phoenix is in 11th place. So what do they have to get out of this?
Getting the 10th spot and trying to get a playing spot.
Maybe.
No, they're cooked. They're done.
I think they're cooked.
That's
Flamboyed. Broiled.
Flambade.
reverse
Flambade. Don't matter. Thunder in 1. In
Friday, another team that is flamboyed, the Utah Jazz. Jacob, what happens in Utah?
Win. Give me another money ball.
Another money. I don't think that's how this works. Taylor, what happens in Utah?
Yeah, that's a win.
It is definitely a win, and I will use my real money ball on that one. And last but not least, another matinee game that is also not on national TV against the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't remember who went first. So Taylor, you go.
W.
Jacob,
Win.
also a win. Win.
Hey, as we close out the pod today, I wanted to share because Smoot has a funny comment calling them the Phoenix Buns. Have you guys heard this Schwab hot dog radio commercial for the Thunder
No.
where they're like making all these puns about like hot dog condiments in a basketball game? And then he says, post it up, buns out. And I'm like, someone winning the pooing it out there with a post up.
I think
shirt,
that was
no
on
pants?
purpose. That was on purpose.
I don't know if you saw at the very beginning of the broadcast, the camera was like low baseline of all the players lining up at the circle, and Shea dropped dropped his shorts down to his knees to like retuck in his jersey.
I missed that.
It was incredible. My kids started cackling. They thought that was the funniest thing they've ever seen in a
Brother
basketball
going
game.
hog out. Got it. Pull out all the stops.
Buns
to win
out.
the MVP.
Buns out.
I wish he would have done that more this past week, especially with Jokic having the week he's having. Can we talk about who's winning the MVP?
I'm curious. Thank you for listening to the Uncontested Podcast. We appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to everyone who dropped a super chat today. We appreciate that as well. Some cool new stuff coming for the podcast. Maybe in the next week. Some new things you might hear on this show. That'll be pretty cool. Hey, 1 week of regular season basketball left. It's going to be a blast. Playoffs are here, baby. And there's no place you would rather be than the Uncontested Discord. I promise you, if you have mental health issues, do not sign up. We will talk to you guys on Tuesday night, Wednesday night.
Something like that.
We'll talk to you at some point. If you want to hear us earlier, join the Patreon because we got a bonus pod coming out. We'll be around for all the playoff games, your play-in scenarios, all of that. So make sure you keep it posted here at the Uncontested YouTube page or wherever you download your pods. Have a great beginning of your week, and we will see you guys soon. Until then, and as always, Thunder up.